We've got a client at the moment who is two grandparents who have custody of their little baby grandchildren, and they're pulling their hair out trying to raise these grandkids, and there's washing everywhere, and that they're apologising because they're giving us 3 bags of washing for the week. And I'm like, hey, this is probably as much as we wash every day just for ourselves anyway. So, no stress. And it's just making that thing easier for them, that like a lot of them feel a bit self-conscious about how dirty the clothes are.
Yeah.
A bit like if you have a cleaner come into the house and you try and clean up a little bit before the cleaner comes. It's just building that rapport with people. And I think after the first couple of pickups with them, they're like, oh, cool, come in, the washing's there, see you next week. And it's like, yeah, it's building that relationship with people, I think, is the most important part of any of it.
So today we're joined by Cate Barrett, and you're from Jim's Laundry Services up there in sunny Mildura. It looks like Mildura got a new landmark behind you there. I didn't know they got the Mildura State Bridge, but they do.
Well, we don't drive over that too often, but anyway, have it in the background.
But what we wanted to have you on is Jim sends a 30-day email to all new franchisees in the group, and some respond, some don't. But you responded with a really good story that he was quite impressed with what you've been able to do in the first 30 days, especially with your NDIS work and as a laundry services franchisee. Yeah. So I just talk a little bit about what were you doing prior to Jim's and how have you been going in your first 30 days with laundry services?
Prior, the most recent thing that I was doing before this, I was actually an advocate working in NDIS and with a disability provider here in Mildura, because we actually have an adult son who is profoundly disabled. So NDIS has been part of our life since its inception in 2015. Also have done work prior in support work, had small businesses, huge background in admin work, which I started when I left high school. So, there's been a few different work environments that I've been involved in as well. So the NDIS, I think, because it plays such a big part of our everyday life, it's kind of good to have your finger on the pulse of things that are happening with those kind of things as well. And there is a huge demand for services in many different facets that connect to NDIS as well.
And this is great to hear this stuff, because I know some franchisees do NDIS, some might not know anything about it. With your connections, how did that all work? And maybe do you want to outline what did you do when you started as Jim's?
It was actually just through a post on Facebook. So social media is an awesome way to get things out and about, free advertising for everything. And it was actually by joining up one of our local NDIS groups that we have here in Mildura, who people often network that way to make contact with different services that they're looking for. And it was actually through that group that I was contacted by the general manager of one of our biggest disability providers that we have here in Mildura, and I just kind of went from there. So it's also having that connection, because I've worked in the field in different departments and with different businesses too. So it's just putting that word out there. But I think the social media presence was the biggest factor in with this provider to start with. And I think also Jim's being a recognised brand throughout Australia. I don't think there would be many people that you could talk to about a Jim's franchise of any kind, and they'd be like, sorry, who are you talking about? So
a very good point. But I'd love to touch on that point a bit more, because I teach the social media session in training, and we do talk about groups and stuff, but I've never heard of NDIS, or haven't been made aware of NDIS groups. So is those NDIS groups for
different groups? Because you've got the service providers that are part of different community groups as well. You have support coordinator groups, you have plan management groups. There's a huge array of the different groups involved, and it depends on possibly the area and stuff that you're in as well. So the more populated ones obviously would have a wider spread version of these types of things. But I just know that there was one in particular that was here in Mildura where all service providers and supporters, clients all come together so that they can share information that way as well.
That's fantastic information, Cate. That's worth its weight in gold alone. That's something I didn't know about in regards to that. And obviously Facebook, there is a group for everything, so we should have known about it. But it's fantastic to hear that, how active they are, and they do need good, reliable services, which our franchisees and yourself obviously provide. And so is there a way that, yourself, or how should franchisees or just businesses in general deal with, how do they get involved? Is something where
go onto the NDIS portal as well, and there is a page that you can go to so that you can find service providers in your area, which I think is an important part for anyone throughout Australia, because you can actually put in a postcode and it will come up with every service provider that provides service to that area. So even I know there's some in Mildura that the service providers aren't local, but they do provide different services from interstate and stuff as well. But they're always looking for local services and local providers here that can help with many different areas of what is covered under an NDIS plan. So that would be a good starting point, I would think, especially just for people who don't have much of an idea about NDIS services and what they provide, is having just that basic general knowledge about what it is and how it supports people in their everyday life.
What was there anything else you did as well in your first 30 days with your business? You mentioned social media. What type of posts were you doing? Were you just joining groups and posting, or what were you doing?
Posts, like introducing this new service to Mildura, and I think talking about NDIS, adding that in, that we are a registered service provider as well, because that's a key factor for a lot of people, depending on how their plans are managed through NDIS. And I think it was just constantly putting those little reminders out there that we're here, making a funny post. It's not always about selling everything, because a lot of people get turned off by, hang on, they're just here to make money. They don't really care about anything else. So I'd have, little laundry memes pop up, or pictures of our cats, because they're part of everyday office life when we're doing stuff. So it was trying to come across as that real person, rather than we're just a business here trying to push everything that we can kind of thing, and making it so that people can relate to what's happening, in everyone's everyday life as well.
And do you find that those posts get more engagement than your normal business ones? Or
laughs more so than the ones where you're trying to advertise this is going to cost this much for our service kind of thing. You kind of hear crickets with some of those, and it's like, okay, we need to look at a different way to get that message out there to people as well. And it's still like, I had an older lady who I did a service for today because she'd seen the ad that had been placed in the newspaper, and she was like, so is this service local to Mildura, or do you have to travel up from Melbourne to provide it here? And I said, no, we're local here. She's like, oh, well, that's great, because then she'll pass it on to her friends that go to their social groups for morning tea and things like that. So I think it's just having that real face within the community as well, so that they don't think, oh, it's just another interstate group that's coming in to try and take over whatever might be happening here. But it's just keeping contact and keeping the constant flow of information, even just general ideas about laundry things, how to save time and money, and folding warm stuff when it comes out of the dryer saves on ironing time, and we all love that. So there's not it's just keeping that contact with people.
That's great. And I was going to say, how many times are you posting a week?
I try and keep maybe 3 to 4 posts a week. I'll sit down on a Sunday night and schedule my week's worth of posts, and just make it every second day at different times during the daytime, and just to keep that variety of things happening in that as well, just so it's keeping it constant. For someone who may like the page, then it's still going to keep popping up every now and again, but not be 10 posts a day in your face where it's like, okay, it's getting a little bit too much now.
That's great to hear. So how was the training anyway for you? You've come through it recently. How did you find the training at Jim's Group?
The training was really good. My husband's actually a Jim's mowing franchisee as well. So
okay.
Through on the other side of it. So we spent a couple of days in Melbourne with Fatini as well, doing the training on the ground with her, which was really great. And it's good because that gave us a lot of different ideas of Melbourne's obviously very different to Mildura in the way that community runs things differently here as well. So it's taking those ideas that she's tested and shown to be true and valuable to them, and kind of given our own spin on things here, just making it a bit more Mildura friendly kind of thing, if that makes sense.
And what were some of those ideas? Do you want to share a couple of those?
Well, basically for us, Fatini's biggest thing was, and my question was, how do you not get people's laundry mixed up when you've got so many different people that you're washing for at the same time? How do you know whose jocks belong to who and stuff like that? Because that's a little bit of you don't want to send the wrong ones back to the wrong people. And so we kind of sat here and thought, right, so what can we do to make that look a bit more professional from our end? So we've made our own little tags that go on our Jim's laundry bags, which we've made with our business cards, so that they've always got our business card with them as well, with a number to contact us on, email address. So it's advertising in that respect, as well as the generic Jim's advertising. But with the service provider that we're using at the moment, because their respite house has 10 different bedrooms. So each one of those bedrooms has its own sets of linen and stuff. So if we're getting 10 bedrooms worth of linen through at the same time, trying to differentiate between that, we don't want to send the wrong things back to the wrong place. So it's also keeping a list of, room 6 has, I've made up our own generic tick and flick list. So we can write down things like it's got a green doona cover, a purple pillowcase, and, a grey sheet kind of thing. When we package it up again, that we're triple checking everything and then popping it back in with the tag on the bag. So when we're delivering it back to them, they've just got to pick up this bag and carry it to that room, and it's all done and ready for them. So there's less organisation on their end as well, which makes it a lot easier for them, and just a straightforward process of, okay, this is room 8's bag, this goes here. So that kind of thing made it easier for us. And also when we're in the laundromat, we use like some blue little sticky labels on the different machines that are ours, rather than having to go along lifting up lids of machines to think, okay, this isn't our washing, and someone's watching us lift up their lid and they're like, hang on, don't touch our washing. So it's little bits like that you wouldn't think of, but it makes life a lot easier when you can just look at it and go, yep, I don't have to touch it any further from here. So that was a big thing for us.
And I was going to say as well, what's the reaction if people see you driving around in Mildura with laundry services? Are people surprised, or what do they say?
It was actually funny the other day because I was driving back from in town dropping my daughter at school, and we've got a Jim's mowing car in this lane, and then I'm in a Jim's laundry van coming behind them, and then there's a Jim's mobile cleaning and curtain maintenance van as well, and then we had it cleaning coming the other way, and I'm thinking everyone's going to be looking at all these Jim cars in the same place thinking, what the hell is going on? But it's good because you get people to stop and look, and they're like, oh, a Jim's, like I recognise the face but never seen this brand here before. So like I said, everyone knows the Jim's brand, and it's good to have that recognition from people going, oh yeah, we know that, like, have you got a business card, do you have this? And we hand them out and away we go. So it's good that people are welcoming to these things. And I think just seeing that they're everyday people that are doing all this stuff as well. We're a family business, which most of what Jim's franchisees are. So
yep. I was going to say as well, and the service in itself, like I think it's something where it's going to start picking on, because most people, I don't know, traditionally they're not used to outsourcing their laundry. They might think,
exactly. And laundry is a personal thing. You don't, like, not everyone wants, like I said, people washing your jocks and weird dirty laundry, and that's what you're sharing with people. So that's one of the posts that I put up on Facebook, like, we're happy for you to share your dirty laundry with us. It won't go any further kind of thing.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's a personal thing.
But I think I was saying this to some other people in the division, it's such a no-brainer. Like, it's such a time saver, and you guys are so good at it, and just get that, like, if I was a single bloke, this is something I would have needed back in the day, but
exactly.
would have smelled a lot nicer going out and about. But I just think it's a service that it's something that we're just slowly, I reckon, starting to get used to. But it's such a no-brainer for time for people, especially. That's right. If they've got a full, both parents working or whatever, they don't
exactly. And we've actually got a client at the moment who is 2 grandparents who have custody of their little baby grandchildren, and they're pulling their hair out trying to raise these grandkids. And there's washing everywhere, and that they're apologising because they're giving us 3 bags of washing for the week. And I'm like, hey, this is probably as much as we wash every day just for ourselves anyway. So, no stress. And it's just making that thing easier for them, that, like, a lot of them feel a bit self-conscious about how dirty their clothes are. Yeah. A bit like if you have a cleaner come into the house and you try and clean up a little bit before the cleaner comes. Kind of thing. So it's just building that rapport with people. And I think after the first couple of pickups with them, they're like, oh, cool, come in, the washing's there, see you next week. And it's like, yeah, it's building that relationship with people, I think, is the most important part of any of it.
And can you just outline for people just how easy it is to use you guys? What's the process for someone to just outline? If they call you guys for the first time, you get a lead
on a lead, or they contact us directly. So I will give them a call and just go through a few questions on the phone, especially if they have any preferences around allergies, any skin conditions, whether they like fragrance or they don't. And a big thing for us is, because we are animal lovers, we have many animals in our home, is to know that if we're coming to someone's house, that we're not going to accidentally let out a dog or a cat if we open the front gate or things like that too. So it's knowing just a little bit about, what we're actually entering into. We explain to them that we come to their door. They don't need to be home, which is also a good thing, because a lot of people are time poor and don't have time to be, coordinating schedules with 15 other people to do something. So I think that has been a big draw card for people as well. So as we explained, we pick it up, we take it away, we wash it, we dry it, we fold it, and we drop it back to them. And there's no, nothing magical in between, but it goes dirty and it comes back clean. And if they want ironing done, then that can be arranged as well. So a lot of people are like, and that's it. And they're like, so how much do you charge for your travel? And it's like, well, there's no charge for travel, that's included. And I think that's a big shock for people because they're like, hang on. So you do all that just for that amount and you come to us and then bring it back. So it's harder because, like you said, not a lot of people are used to the whole door-to-door service with things either, and having that flexibility that they don't have to be face-to-face with someone constantly. So I think half of my clients, I don't see them. I get a text message saying, I've got a load this week, and I'll say, I'll see your washing on Tuesday morning. They're like, yep, no worries, and then drop it back the next day. They're like, thanks for that, with another text message. And I like to keep in contact to know when I'm on my way and once the drop-off has been complete again after the job, so that they know that everything's done and ready to go.
It's a fantastic service, and it's really, really good one. I think that's going to keep growing as more people become aware about it. Yeah, we used to I think I get a feeling back in the day, in the early 80s or late 80s, when people weren't used to getting gardeners around to mow their lawns, right? So it's just, and now it's just a standard thing. So whereas with this similar type of thing, I think
that everything is being outsourced because, let's face it, like you said, you've got working families, you've got, these days, both parents have to work just to keep things happening for their families and stuff too. So what happens to everything else that needs doing in regards to a family situation, a home, a business, anything like that? So I think it's great that there is that flexibility and it's answering people's needs out there too.
Absolutely. And I was going to say as well, how long has your husband been with Jim's Mowing for?
He's been there for 12 months now. So
okay.
It was actually, we went down to the open day in June. They had it in Melbourne, which is where we saw the laundry things. And I was kind of like, I've been doing laundry for free for however many years now. So this could be a bit of a, money spinner, but something that's going to build up for our family too. And we had to think about it, and then we had to chat about it, and a bit more of a thought and a bit more of a discussion. And so this is what brought us here as well. So, and also dealing with the gyms group and having that prior knowledge to how things work as well, it was kind of a no-brainer. It was like, well, everything, we haven't seen anyone who has failed at anything. And the support that's given from franchisors behind you as well is phenomenal. So you couldn't ask for a better support group, really.
No, it's good to hear, and it's good to hear that as well. I know Bill and the team well, and Sharon and
Bill's awesome.
Alicia
and Sharon's the one that we met at the field day kind of thing. So I always say it's because of you that we're doing this, and she's like, see, I'm really good at my job. So
that's seriously good. No, the team's got the support team with laundry is really, really top notch, and they all do a great job. And it's great to hear your husband as well has done his first 12 months, and he's enjoying it. Is he enjoying the work? And
he's actually looking at selling his mowing business.
Okay.
Because this one looks like it's going to explode, and I'm not sure I'm going to have enough arms and time during the day to.
So he's going to come into work with you?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Side of things. So yeah.
There we go. That's interesting.
Expanding in a different way.
No, that's a good thing. I've heard people in laundry staff. I think Fatini was one of them. I remember interviewed her a while back, and her husband, they didn't know, she thought it might be part-time or whatever. And then all of a sudden the husband then had to quit his job and come work for her. So
because we're looking at with this one service provider, if they decide that, yes, this trial that we're doing for them is going to work, they have another 14 plus houses that they need taken on board. So at the moment we're working with one house and we're flat out every day. So bringing 14 houses is a bit of an explosion of the mind of how we're going to deal with it. But yeah.
At the moment, you just take everything to the local laundromat, or do you ever deal with them? Or
take everything to the local laundromat, but there's only 3 locally and they're very widespread. I don't know if you know much about Mildura, but you could travel for 50 to 60 Ks to get to the next one kind of thing.
Really?
It's spread out a long way. So if we head to one that's full, we've then got to find another one that's further afield kind of thing. So we're looking at the ideas of making our own home base somewhere, renting a commercial property to put some machinery into, and touch wood down the track where, we've built it to a big enough space where we can have our own laundromat, but have our things at the back of that to be able to use just for ourselves as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of big plans, just hoping that they all come to fruition the way that we would like them to.
We're surprised about where you are after 30 days because, the first year is supposed to be the hardest. And
extremely, because like it was nearly $4,000 for just last week that we were invoicing for that week. And I was just kind of sitting there going, have I added this up correctly? Like I'm going back through things going, yep, no, that's all correct. And yeah, so, and it's only going to grow from there.
So that was going to be my question to you. Are you happy with the income? But I presume you're happy with it.
Yes, because we're just kind of looking and going, that's crazy. I actually spoke to Esther from Warrnambool today.
Yes.
I'd given her my number to have a bit of a chat. And, she was talking about different things. She goes, I'm earning about $500 a week. She goes, do you mind if I ask how much you're earning? And I told her how much we invoiced for last week. And she was like, is that for the month? And I was like, no, that's for last week. She goes, oh my God, like, how do you do this? And I'm thinking to myself that there's no real secret to it. It's just, I think for us, we were in the right place at the right time, putting the words out there for these services, but it's achievable, obviously. And that's only me doing it. So I guess it's just whatever you put your mind to as well. Like nothing's off limit, and it's as far as you're willing to go for these services as well. So
now, I think the NDIS group stuff you mentioned is really, really helpful because I don't know if Esther's done that or not. I know Esther, she's a nice lady. I met her at the Franchise Expo, but I think the NDIS stuff you've done, which is really, really clever with the manager groups and stuff as well. I don't think a lot of people would have thought about that at all.
And I think that is the better side to get into because most of the NDIS clients know that they can have access to certain things, but they're not clear on which way that they can push it. So especially being part of like a service providers group or the plan management and that side of things, because they know the ins and outs of what people can and can't claim and what can be done that way too. So I think that's a really important place for people to start and just like putting yourself out there to them. Go to their offices, like, take in some coffee and cake or something. Everyone loves coffee and cake. So that's kind of a bit of an icebreaker for things as well.
That's great. That's really, really good advice, Cate. And I'm glad that you shared that because that's something that's really useful to a lot of franchisees. Because we always, most franchisees will join the local buy, sell, swap group or small business group or whatever. But the NDIS plan management,
it has to be that specific target, I think, because that's where people are focusing on. And let's face it, there's over 550,000 NDIS clients in Australia at the moment, which is only estimated to climb by, God, I don't even know what the figure is for the next 12 months. So when you take that into account with how many franchisees we have across Australia as well, there is a huge market out there for all of the services that are provided through gyms.
Let me work real clear, sorry again, Cate, just to my knowledge and everyone else's, is about so NDIS, let's say plan management group, NDIS support
coordination group.
Support coordination group. And was there another one?
There's one that is run here, which is just like an NDIS community group. So that encompasses everyone. That includes clients, plan managers, support coordinators, providers, all that type of thing as well.
That's great.
That's a great place to start putting your name and your business out there.
For sure, and that's really great, and it's great to see that a mowing guy's coming into laundry because the sees full potential with laundry. It's normally the other way around sometimes, right? So, I know the franchise might not be too happy, but that's quite it's quite remarkable that that's happening, and it's a great vehicle for you to with your plans and what you said, and I'm sure you're going to be able to do it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you
something for our family's future too, because at the moment we don't get to see each other or spend time with each other, and I'm not sure how it's going to go working together every day, but
we have a few husband and wife teams, and I always ask that question as well. They seem to be very happy. So
no, it's still going like mine.
There's a lot of husband and wife teams in gyms, and they seem to be going okay. So I'm sure you'll be fine. But Cate, thank you very much for your information today and your time. Jim was really impressed to see how well you're doing after your first 30 days in laundry services. Yeah, thanks for sharing all that knowledge. And we'll get this Accor voucher to yourself, which you and your husband can use. And there'll be 2 free nights at any Accor hotel around the world, and 50% of dining and drinks and all that stuff. But thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, Joel.
Thanks, Cate. No, see you.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the episode of the Gyms podcast. If you want to learn more about the Gyms Group, head to gyms.net or call us on 131 546 Australia or 0800 454 654 New Zealand. And if you did like the episode as well, please make sure you leave a review or a comment or a thumbs up or a comment on the video as well. We appreciate your support. And until next episode, we hope you have a great week.